Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar, Electronic Locking, Understanding Your Options. My name is Jeff Rushton and I'm the Chief Technical Officer at Alarm Corp. Just before we get started, just need to run through a little bit of general housekeeping. You'll notice that you're muted. You will remain muted for the duration of the webinar. And just to ensure that you can see the presentation and hear me, can you please click the hand icon? Excellent. Plenty of hands. Okay. You can now lower them if you could. Okay. At any time you can ask questions, and at the end of the webinar I will answer any questions asked. Just remember to click send after typing your question here. Our topic today is a little bit more complicated than originally looked at. So it's more complex than the 20 minutes that we have allowed. So I'll only have time to cover the basic and most common types of electronic locking. Our 5 main types are electric strikes, mortise locks, escutcheons, mag locks, and a variety of others. For electric strikes, many different types of strikes exist. In general, all are either surface or flush mounted into the door frame. Most doors would typically already have a mechanical key lock installed, and this may dictate the type of strike that should be installed. Some specs of a good standard door strike, like the Ingersoll Rand LE 8800M, they sort of should include these basic functions, and that is that it can be fail-safe or fail-secure, and that should be field selectable. Should be able to work within a range of voltages, let's say of 12 to 24 volts DC. Have a door position switch, a lock position switch, be protected against reverse polarity, tested to over 500,000 cycles, has a holding strength of 680 kilograms and an impact strength of 100 joules. This is also available in a non-monitored version. Typical applications for a strike would include doors of pretty much any construction, including plate glass doors with or without door frames. Great for cabinets, as well as gates with deadlocks. You'd typically use a strike in a place where you have high traffic, or it's being part of a fire-rated door set, because most of these door strikes have a fire rating of about 4 hours. Operating on doors with an open-in or an open-out, i.e. typically non-sliding. And strikes work with all access control systems. Considerations when selecting a strike: it's important to ensure that the door is within the specs of the strike you're installing. So in this case, for the LE 8800M, some of the specs are the latch cavity is designed to operate with a 12 to 15 mil door latch. The door can have a gap of up to 3 mil. There should also be a minimum clearance of 1 mil between the door bolt, the latch bolt, and the strike keeper to prevent jamming when the door is closed. That's typically called back pressure, and you need to check to ensure that the latch is not putting pressure on the strike when closed. All door strikes, in fact every lock that we're discussing today, comes with a template to enable the correct size fitting. I would highly suggest that someone suitably qualified is employed to install a door strike or a mortise lock or any other lock that we're discussing to ensure that there's minimal problems that arise due to poor fitting. Some of the advantage of a electric strike is, to start with, they're the most common use of a electronic door lock in the world. The majority of access control doors are typically of a solid wood or steel frame construction, and strikes work very well with them. Strikes are extremely reliable even when little or no maintenance is done. They also come in a wide variety of sizes and types to cover the widest selection of door types. Some of the disadvantages though, most require cutting into the door frame for installation. In many cases, a tongue shroud should be installed to minimise the possibility of tampering with the lock. Back pressure by the tongue against the strike is the biggest problem of this type of lock. And over time, tolerances for wear and tear of the door could potentially upset the operation and may need to be adjusted. With electric mortise locks, there's loads of different types of mortise locks, and all have a multitude of options to accommodate most door types. In this case, most doors would typically not have a mechanical lock installed, or the mortise lock is to replace any existing lock. Again, the specs of a fairly generic mortise lock. Ingersoll Rand have got a 990 MFE. It operates between 12 and 24 volt DC. It monitors the hub. It also monitors the latch position for locking and the door status. It has a smart LED to give you a visual indication of the status of the lock. You have an option for key override monitoring. Can be fail safe or fail secure, and they're field changeable. Has modes for versatile or combination, and that also is field selectable. These locks have a 4-hour fire rating. So again, the typical application for these is on doors that have a wood, a solid wood or core construction, or steel frame. They're used where a higher security application is required. They're fire rated, so for a fire rated door set. They work on open in and open out doors, or a solution for an all-in-one solution is required. So in cases of commercial, industrial, institutional and government buildings where durability and security are of major importance. And these two work with any access control system. Here's just an example of how to change some of the features of a mortise lock. In this case, to change the bolt head from left to right-handed doors. You can see you just remove the plate, turn the tongue around and replace it. So a very easy change of door set. And another example of one showing how to change from fail secure to fail safe. You can see just by removing a cover and a screw, and then placing that screw in a different location. So very easy to change some of the features of the mortise lock. And again, to change to a versatile lock. So as you can see, one lock can be configured multiple ways. Again, you just turn the setting and it's changed the entire function of that lock. Some of the advantage of a mortise lock include they're compact and they're all got an all-in-one design. There's a huge selection of handle sets available. In fact, any standard handle set will work with a mortise lock. They include the request to exit built in, so there's no need to add a separate switch or a detector. Their cabling is concealed. The door frame typically remains untouched, and Alarm Corp sells a variety of versions that are also SCEC approved. Some of the disadvantages, though, is installation can be a little bit more tricky, and it can be costly if an expensive door is damaged. The reason I say that is the next point is just about in every case with a mortise lock, you would need to core drill the door, which means drilling a hole from one side directly to the other side of the door. Missing that can destroy what otherwise was a very nice looking door beforehand. You do need a cable transfer hinge located in the frame in order to route the cabling back to the wall. So hence with all of these considerations, a mortise lock is typically more expensive both to purchase and to install than an electric strike. Other types of mortise lock is what we would call an electronic escutcheon lock. And they're very similar to a mortise lock, but these include a card reader and intelligence to operate a door standalone. An example of a good escutcheon lock is from a company called Salto, where there's a choice of reader technology, and they can operate standalone, offline, or wireless. They require no cabling, and there are many, many options for door hardware. Typical applications for these escutcheon locks are as an addition to an existing hardwired access control system. Lots are used in educational facilities, heritage sites, anywhere an existing mechanical locking system is installed, or in fact anywhere cabling is difficult, impossible, or not allowed. This slide shows you the basic scenario of a Salto system using MyFair cards. All of the normal access control questions are asked. So card number, access level, time zone. The order trail is then written to both the card and the lock. And in this case, a message for the card that the battery in the lock is running low. The card then transmits a blacklist of all cards that are void to the lock. So you can see that using MyFair cards allows the card to be intelligent. unlike most access control systems where the intelligence is held in the door. The advantages of this type of lock is you get a choice of reader technology. As I've said, it can operate in a standalone mode, in an offline or wireless. Requires no cabling. It has many options for different types of door hardware and door finishes, or lock finishes, I should say. Has a long battery life. That particular lock shown has about 45,000 uses before the batteries need to be changed. And installation typically only takes minutes rather than hours. Disadvantages though, there's an extremely large number of options for different door types and sizes. So I would really suggest that someone with locksmith knowledge or background is advisable in order to pick the right options for the right door hardware. Electromagnetic locks. There's only a few types of these locks around, and typically the holding force required is the key consideration when selecting a lock. A good mag lock would be typical or similar to the Ingersoll Rand M600, where it's a direct mounted, direct hold lock. It is dual voltage selectable from 12 or 24 volt DC. They have a very low current consumption. The lock has a holding force, in this case, of 545 kilos. And it has a magnetic bond sense, as well as a door positioning switch and a red-green indicator for the status of the lock. They're very durable, totally silent, and in this case it has an aluminium casing. You can use these on pretty much doors of any construction, including plate glass with or without a frame around it. Typical uses would be in places of extremely high traffic areas, or again on open-in, open-out doors. And these two work with any access control system. We can have a look here that although the components of a magnetic lock are quite straightforward, one of the key installation requirements is a bracket or brackets to mount the magnetic lock and the plate on. A typical install is shown on the left-hand drawing. You can notice that if we looked at this right-hand one for the moment, the mag lock is there and it has a L-shaped bracket which it's attached to, which it's mounted onto the door frame with. The armature plate, in this case, with this door, is mounted on a Z-shaped bracket. So it's installed on the door, and then so it has connection, or at least proximity, with the lock itself. So you can see even on a standard installation like this one, the brackets, the mounting brackets, are important in order to get the installation correct. Electromagnetic locks have got a few really good advantages. One is they're very easy to install, and they'll work on a lot of doors that other types of locks won't work on. They're very durable, they have no real moving parts, and their operation is totally silent. Disadvantages though is they're not really suitable for discrete installations, because as you saw in the drawing before, they're surface mount. They've got brackets attached to them. In some cases, they're not the prettiest looking way of securing a door. And for these locks to work, they require power in order to lock. Other types of electronic types exist, And some of Alarm Corp's products include, both of these are from Salto, is a product called a geocylinder. This turns any Lockwood mechanical cylinder into an access control system. You simply replace the existing Lockwood cylinder with the geocylinder, and you instantly have a card-operated locking system. Also, the Geo Padlock from Salto, it turns any mechanical padlock into an access control system. Now you can add audit trail, access control to a gate on a fence that traditionally would have cost, many thousands of dollars to secure. If you'd like to know more about these products, or in fact any products that we have, first place of call is the Alarm Corp website. You can also subscribe to our Pulse newsletter and receive product information about our products or industry news in general. You can register online at our website, and we can give you full access to our e-commerce platform, including pricing and placing orders. And feel free to contact any of our reps, myself, Diane or Richard for New South Wales and Queensland, or Stephen for Victoria, South Australia and WA. Or of course, contact myself at any time. Alarm Corp will be conducting regular webinars for the remainder of the year. So every third Thursday, we'll be holding an intrusion-based webinar. So you can see there for the rest of the year. And every second Wednesday, a CCTV-related webinar. If you want to register for any future webinar or view any previous webinar, just visit the Alarm Corp website and click on Resources, then Webinars. You can register for anything in the future, and it will put it in your calendar and remind you when it's due. We'll certainly be sending out emails beforehand to allow for registration of the next webinar that's coming up. But you can certainly go to our website and see all future ones. And if you've missed a webinar, feel free to go there as well, and you can view any of the webinars that have been done in the last 12 months. When you attend one of our webinars, you'll have access to special promotions. So in this case, all of the purchases made online through our webpage, through our e-commerce platform, if you enter the promo code MARWEB14 during checkout, you'll receive an additional 10% off your already discounted trade prices. So regardless of what your current discount is on any of our product brands, an additional 10% will be taken off a web purchase. This is good up until the 30th of April, so you've got about 6 weeks. And it applies to all of our products except for the couple of exceptions that are listed there, CPAS, Sony and Verint. So let's answer some of your questions. If you have a question, now's the time to type it and hit send. And we'll just see what's come through. Okay, first one. What warranty period do you get for locks? Okay, it varies depending on the type. For all of our electric strikes, you're offered a 5-year warranty. And for the Mortise locks, they have a 10-year warranty on all the mechanical components and a 12-month warranty for all the electronic components in them. Any other questions? Okay, which models are SCEC approved? There are two mortise locks, a 990 MF and a 990 MFE. Both of these mortise locks are approved to intruder-resistant areas, so long as they're used with a SCEC-approved keying system. So as long as you're using a SCEC key set, those two mortise locks are approved for intruder-resistant. See if there's any more questions. Wait 2 or 3 seconds. Okay, that looks like it's probably about it. So I'd like to thank you for attending our webinar today. We certainly appreciate the time taken from your schedule and look forward and hope it was beneficial to you. And certainly we look forward to seeing you at the next webinar. I hope you enjoy the remainder of your day. Goodbye.